everybody. As you probably already know, my name is Michelle the Bookworm, and today I am going to be doing a wrap-up and a TBR, but I just wanted to give you guys a few updates about what I've been doing this month. So, as many of you guys know, I am an English major, and over the course of my time in college, I was able to acquire quite a few books, and it has been my project or on my to-do list for a really long time now to kind of go through my books, figure out which ones are there, and ultimately sell them. I plan on traveling in the very near future, and I want to sell all my books. But before I can do that, I needed to know what books I have. So this past month, I have been working on this really cool project of cataloging all of my books. I am very proud of this. I'm actually gonna bring you guys in a little bit to see it up close. So I have all of my books in my closet now. These are all my Stephen King novels over here. Actually, I'm just gonna bring just the camera. I don't know why I was bringing the entire computer. So here's all of my Stephen King novels. They're right there. This box is thriller and mystery. This box is, I believe, like textbooks. This is also textbooks. This one is not textbooks, but also like nonfiction. I have I have a book about like the psychology of an octopus in here. Also like dictionaries and glossaries and stuff. And this one is classic literature. I have a lot of my classic books in here. I have my beautiful, well-worn Lord of the Rings book in here. Yeah, and then I have a huge, giant pile of children's, like, you can't really see it, but this is a box of children's literature. Also, like, fantasy, so my Twilight books and my Harry Potter books and all that stuff, went in there. Yeah, so it was a lot. I finally made it through it all. And I feel really, really proud that I was able to take all my books and get them into one space, into the closet, so that I can then sell them off little by little. This is a lot less overwhelming than it was before. So that is one book update. Taking out the ones that I'm gifting to people, that I'm giving away, I have 215 books. That's a lot. I thought I had more. I thought I had more, around 300. But so I guess I only have 200 books. So it's kind of been an interesting journey. I didn't know how many books I had. I've just kind of always had them, kind of just carried them around from place to place to place, not really knowing how many books I had, just kind of accumulating more. Well, now I know. So yeah, I just want to share that with you guys. I'm finally done. I'm finally done cataloging my books. I am so happy about that. If you're interested, I guess I could probably leave a PDF of it down in the link below if you're interested at the different kind of books that I have. So now that you know kind of what I've been doing this month, that has been a huge project, and I'm so happy to finally be done with it. So for the books that I have read this month, I'm a little disappointed in myself. I spent so much time like cataloging my books, and like depending on the activity, I kind of like jump from book to book to book. So I actually only read one book this month, and it was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. It was a wonderful book by Neil Gaiman, um, and it was something that I haven't really read in a very long time. Um, it's a magical realism novel about this socially awkward boy who's about 11 years old. He doesn't really have any friends. He doesn't really like communicate with people. Well, he tries to communicate with people, but especially his family, they don't really listen. So and this boy doesn't have a name. You actually don't hear what his name is throughout the entire novel, which is kind of interesting. Um, I guess it kind of makes sense because it's more of like a memoir of him like remembering what happened and coming back years later. So this boy meets an 11-year-old named Letty Hempstock, who she comes from a long line of witches, and she begins to introduce him to the magical world, um, to like the wonders of it, and also the dangers. One thing that I really, really liked about this novel, and it's something that I'm going to touch on when I do my review of this novel, is that the way magic is presented in The Ocean at the End of the Lane, it's just something that is. Like, magic isn't something that is, like, wondrous. It's just an element. And it, like, everything that, like, he's kind of reeling, like, going, oh, wow, this is kind of crazy. And she's like, yeah, it's magic. And I just love that, how Neil Gaiman, like, brought that kind of magic to life and made it reality. So my current number of books that I'm at is I am at 13 for the year, which means I'm 2 books behind. Hopefully I can fix that and get caught up this month. The first book that I've been reading, I am 66% of the way done through, is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This is a story about a young witch named Diana Bishop who basically forsakes her heritage as a witch, um, and she's trying to become an ordinary historian while, and she works at a library. She's thinking like, okay, what harm can I do, just working in a library? Well, apparently there's a lot of harm because there's a specific book called, basically, there's a specific, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's a specific book that tells the heritage and the origin, it's like in the origin story for witches and demons and vampires. So everyone's trying to get their hands on this book, and everyone's been trying to get their hands on it, and she finally was able to, and she's been the only one to do it for centuries. So now everyone's after her because they want to get her to get the book. I'm about most of the way through it. I really love the concept. I really love the magical elements of this book, and yeah, I will be doing a review about this at another point in time. The second book that I've been reading, and I've actually been spending a lot more time on this one, is one that I've been so excited for so long. It's called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it is a prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Hunger Games fan. My boyfriend got me into it when we first started dating. But this one isn't about, it's not about Katniss, but it's about Cornelius Snow, and how he became like involved in the Hunger Games and like how the Hunger Games came to be. It's like the very beginning of the Hunger Games and like why it came to be and like the the trauma that people went through because of the war. And it talks also like I think it kind of shows a lot of privilege that Snow has, but also a lot of the hardship that he goes through. And even though he's kind of a bit of an asshole, you can kind of start to sympathize with why he's kind of an asshole. Sorry for all those Snow lovers. But yeah, I am absolutely loving it. There is so many elements to it, and it breaks my heart because I really want him to like be a good guy, but I know he's not going to. Anyway, so I am 73% of the way done with this book. I'm hopefully going to finish it. I kind of have been like taking notes and taking my sweet time with it because I don't want it to end. But I also know that I have other books that I need to read. Speaking of which, the other book that I am listening to, this is my audiobook. I am currently listening to The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I am listening to it on LibriVox, and I'm currently 62% of the way done with it. So it has been a long time. I think I've been listening to this audiobook for months. And it's because I can only handle like one chapter at a time. I think it's just a lot of information to process. But it's really good. The audiobook that I'm listening to is phenomenal. Yeah, I'm really really enjoying it. Even if I don't understand all of it, I'm really really enjoying it. And um, I'm looking forward to possibly watching the movie again because I don't quite remember what happened in the movie. And so I'm hoping that after listening to this book, I can watch the movie again and kind of understand more of like what's going on. And like the hidden, like I understand like the overarching like concept, but I don't quite understand like some of the little like underlying political bits of it. Which so hopefully after reading this and watching the movie again, I will get a little bit more of that. The Goodreads book that I am planning on reading for this month, I actually checked out and started to read a little bit of it last month because I thought that we were supposed to read it last month. But we are going to be reading the Wind-Up Bird Chronicle. So this is a book about a man who goes to go look for his lost cat, and like he seems to be like a very ordinary type of guy, and he ends up finding someone along like while he's looking for his cat. It sounds very interesting. I think that like it's so simple that there's going to be like something about it. Like it sounds very simplistic story, but I have a feeling that something's going to happen that's just going to like be surprisingly interesting. So I'm excited about this book. I'm going to be ending up probably purchasing this book on my Kindle as well because currently my library is shut down. And I'm not sure when it's going to be back open. So there's that issue. The fifth book that I'm going to be reading, the second book that I'm going to be starting, is I'm going to start Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I have currently been watching the TV series to this, and I am absolutely loving it. I love the show, and my little sister was the one who ended up getting me into the show, and she asked me to buy her the books for Christmas, so I'm going to be borrowing the books from her, and I will hopefully my goal is to finish the first book this month. So the next book that I'm planning on reading this month, that I will I'm determined to get to, is Covered Wagon Women, Diaries and Letters from the Western Trials of 1840 to 1849. I'm currently writing a book about, involving this time period, and I really want to read this book as kind of like a reference for my writing. It's not very long, but it's nonfiction, and I don't really tend to pay very huge attention to nonfiction. But this is something that I've been meaning to do for the longest time, and I just need to get to it. They have no excuses. I have no excuses right now, so something that I need to buckle down and get done. The next book that I have been working through for over a year now, and I will be working through for even longer than that, is Harry Potter et la Coupe de Foudre. This is the fourth Harry Potter book in French. I really need to start spending more time, instead of practicing French on my phone, just reading French in this book, because I feel like it's more enriching to kind of read something versus playing on a little app. I actually get more out of this than I do on a learning app. So I think by substituting my time on the app and reading this instead, I will have more enrichment. And so for the 9th book, so this will not be finished this month, by no means. If I read this every single day, I don't think I'd be able to finish this month. But the next book that I would like to listen to, probably as an audiobook after I finish the Count of Monte Cristo. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, you guys might have noticed that I'm wearing a Dungeons & Dragons shirt. I am an avid Dungeons & Dragons player. So what I'm going to do is I have a poster, and I'm going to bring you guys out in just a minute and explain what I'm going to do with my poster and my handy dandy D&D dice. Alright, so as you can see here, I have a poster in front of me. This is my 100 Essential Books poster. So these are 100 books that I am supposed to read in my lifetime. I've gotten, a little bit far, but I'd like to see if I can do another one this month. So here's the rules. What I'm going to do is I have a D100 right here, and I have a D10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll both of them, and whichever number I lands on, that's the book I'm going to read this month, or I'm going to listen to as an audiobook after the Count of Monte Cristo. So here we go. And we got number 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So number 12 is A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. What? What? Okay. I've heard about this book, obviously. I'm not sure. This is not the book that I was expecting to even remotely get. Why did I do this? Okay, so that's the book I'm going to read as an audiobook after The Count of Monte Cristo. Let's see if I can find it somewhere. Yeah, this will be interesting. That's what I get for leaving it up to chance. All right. Well, yeah, so those are the 7 books, 8 books. How many books am I getting myself into this month? 9 books. So those are the 9 books that I am planning on reading and working towards. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think I'm going to continue to do the random, like, D&D dice, because I don't like choosing books on my own. Instead, I get surprises like this. All right, so feel free to leave a list of your June, it's June, it is June, of your June TBR down in the link below. What books are you planning on reading this month? What you gonna be doing? Let me know. I want to know. And I look forward to seeing you next time. All right? Read on, bookworms.